Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Alright folks, today we're diving into some exciting, and frankly, quite surprising news that could have huge implications for the Washington Commanders heading into the 2025 NFL season. If you've been following the team closely, you know that the defense, especially the safety position, has been a point of concern for quite some time. And now, with the NFL landscape shifting, there's a real opportunity for Washington to make a significant upgrade. That's right, we might be on the verge of seeing the Commanders sign a player who could dramatically change their secondary, and consequently, their playoff aspirations. Now, let's set the stage here. The Commanders, historically, have struggled to find consistency in their secondary. Over the past few seasons, their safeties have often been average at best, and last season, the safety room was widely considered one of the weakest in the entire league. In fact, according to ESPN's Mike Clay, Washington ranked dead last in the NFL at the safety position, which is a staggering statistic for a team with hopes of making a deep playoff run. The two players expected to be the starters at safety this year are Will Harris and Quan Martin. Harris, at 29, hasn't really shown the consistency needed, posting a PFF grade of just 61.5 last year, which isn't exactly inspiring. The year before, his grade was even lower at 43.8. That's a clear indication that, at least on paper, Harris isn't the long-term solution. Quan Martin, on the other hand, is younger, just 25, and has shown some promise, but his PFF grades from last year 59.2 are still somewhat middling. The previous season, he had a grade of 65.4, which, while better, still leaves a lot to be desired if Washington wants to compete at the highest level. The safety position, as it stands, is a glaring weakness, and that's where the excitement comes in. Imagine a scenario where the Commanders could add a proven, versatile safety that could immediately elevate the unit. That's where Jabrill Peppers comes into the picture. Now, for those of you who don't know, Peppers is a former first-round pick, drafted back in the day with a lot of hype, and he's been a fixture in the league ever since. He's known for his versatility, his ability to play both safety and nickel corner, and his knack for making impactful plays. And here's the kicker, Peppers had an outstanding 2024 season with an overall PFF grade of 82.3, and in 2023 that grade shot up even higher, reaching an impressive 87.3. When you watch Peppers play, it's evident that he's a very good starting caliber safety. He's fast, intelligent, and has a nose for the ball. Throughout his career, he's accumulated 7 interceptions, 511 tackles, and 6 forced fumbles. Last year, even though he only played in 6 games, he started in all of them, which shows how much the Patriots trusted him to be on the field in critical moments. And at just 29 years old, he's in that sweet spot where experience meets still plenty of athleticism. Now, why is this such a big deal for the Commanders? Well, for starters, the timing of Peppers' release from the Patriots is pretty intriguing. It's not often you get a starting caliber player of his quality on the open market just before the season kicks off. The Patriots decided to part ways with him, reportedly because he didn't fit into their new scheme under head coach Mike Vrabel. It seems like they were looking to trade him initially, but with no takers, releasing him was the only option. And here's where things get really interesting. At 29, Peppers isn't just a stopgap, he's a player who can make an immediate impact. The Commanders, currently, are on the outside looking in when it comes to Super Bowl contention. According to FanDuel, they have plus 2,000 odds to win it all next year, tied with the Cincinnati Bengals. Those aren't terrible odds, but they certainly aren't great either. If Washington truly wants to elevate their game and push for a deep playoff run, adding a player like Peppers could be the difference maker. Think about it. Adding a player with Peppers' versatility and experience to a defense that desperately needs upgrades at safety would be a massive step forward. The team's current safety duo of Harris and Martin, while young and with potential, simply aren't enough to carry the load against the league's top offenses. Peppers would bring stability, leadership, and a proven track record of making game-changing plays. Not just about filling a roster spot, it's about strengthening the entire defense, which in turn boosts the team's chances of competing at the highest levels. Now, let's talk a little about Peppers' college days and NFL journey because it's relevant here. Coming out of Penn State, he was considered a phenomenal prospect, finishing 5th in Heisman voting in his final year, which is no small feat for a defensive player. That kind of recognition speaks volumes about his talent and potential. Since entering the league, Peppers has put up some solid stats: 7 interceptions, 511 tackles, and 6 forced fumbles over his 8-year career. That's a level of production that any team would value, especially a team like Washington that is looking to build a more competitive, aggressive defense. And it's not just about stats. It's about leadership, experience, and the ability to step into a new role and contribute immediately. Last season, even though he only played in 6 games, he was a starter in every single one. That kind of consistency and trust from his coaching staff shows that he still has plenty of football left in him. For Washington, bringing in a player like Peppers isn't just about plugging a hole. It's about elevating the entire secondary and giving their young safeties a mentor and a proven performer to learn from. Of course, this isn't just a random speculation. It's rooted in the current NFL landscape, where roster shuffling is part of the game, especially right before the season starts. The Patriots' decision to release Peppers creates a window of opportunity for Washington. With a bit of cap space and a need for immediate impact, they could make a move that sets the tone for their entire season. And considering how much the safety position has been a weakness, this could be the move that helps them finally turn that weakness into a strength. In terms of what fans should be thinking, this is a very strategic opportunity. If the Commanders can land Peppers, it's not just about adding a talented player. It's about sending a message across the league that Washington is serious about competing and that they're willing to make bold moves to get there. It's about building a defense that can stand tall against the NFC East rivals, teams like the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, who are always looking to dominate the secondary and exploit any weaknesses. Now, I know some fans might be wondering about the fit, the cost, and whether Peppers is still at his peak. Well, based on his recent performance and the reports from last year, he's definitely still in his prime. The Patriots' decision to release him might seem confusing, but it's more about scheme fit and roster management than a decline in talent. Washington, with its somewhat flexible defensive scheme, could benefit immensely from his skill set. Plus, at this stage of his career, he's motivated to prove himself and possibly earn a bigger contract next season, which makes him even more eager to perform at his best. Looking ahead, if Washington manages to pull this off, signing Peppers, it could be a turning point for their defense. It would send a strong signal to the rest of the league that they're serious about contending, and it could help them tighten up against the run and pass, making life much harder for opposing offenses. It's a move that could push the Commanders from being an average team with potential into a real playoff contender with a shot at the Super Bowl. And honestly, who wouldn't love to see Washington finally break through and make a statement in the NFC? So fans, keep your fingers crossed because this story is still unfolding. The NFL trade and signing window is always full of surprises, and right now, the Commanders have a real shot at adding a player who could be a game changer. Whether it actually happens or not, it's definitely a story to watch in the coming days. The team's management has a big decision to make, and if they choose wisely, we could be talking about a new level of competitiveness for the Commanders by the time the season kicks off. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think signing Jabrill Peppers would be the perfect move to boost the secondary? Or do you believe there are other priorities the team should focus on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come for our beloved team.